Governments don't just wish themselves into power. They usually will ride on the back of a political party. In Ghana today, the political party that is in power is the Elephant Party, the New Patriotic Party. It's done 6 years working towards breaking the 8 in 2024. A very audacious task. But before it breaks the 8, it first has to be settled in office. The chief administrator of that party is my guest for Face to Face today. My name is Umaru Sandamado. We'll come back, I'll introduce him. John Boadu was youth organizer of the NPP, rose to become national organizer. And then when there was a vacancy at the general secretary position, the party said, go and act. He acted as general secretary and won the party an election in 2016. He got endorsed as a general secretary, and now he's fighting for that same seat, even though he's an incumbent general secretary who's supervising domestic elections of the party. On Face to Face today, we're going to interact on that and other issues. Mr. John Boadu, you're welcome to Face to Face.
Thank you very much.
How are you?
I'm doing fine.
You look good, eh? Power is reflecting in you.
If you say so.
You're enjoying the fruits of your labor.
Not exactly. You see, our kind of political system here requires you to almost every day, as if you are getting ready for elections.
Every day you are campaigning?
Almost every day, because immediately after elections and the election is declared, you need to do reorganization of your party. So right from last year, we've been reorganizing the party. We immediately set up a Osafo committee to review what went on during the parliamentary and presidential elections. We ourselves, as national leadership, also for the first time took the opportunity to visit the regions to know at first hand what exactly are the challenges, which are the things that we did better that need to be improved upon and all that. And after that exercise, we came back, and after the work of the Osafo committee, we realized that it's almost the same issues that party people were raising. They were happy about a lot of things that we did, particularly about government programs, government privileges that government offered. They were also happy about party and how well we resourced them and trained them and got them prepared towards 2020 elections.
So parties do not and should not go on vacation, or you should be allowed to go on a vacation and say, okay, between 2021, after the new president was sworn in, all parties cease activities until, say, 2023 or early 2024. Do you think that's an ideal thing that should work? Would that work?
It will be very, very difficult because you have, beyond the general elections for the party and government, you have your internal elections that you have to do. And most of these positions are also elective positions. And there are a lot of things to do. If you look at the Constitution mandates political party to take up the education of their members and also support government in government activities. So it will be very, very difficult for us to have period
free season.
Yeah, free season. It's very, very difficult. Other than that, you'll be able to meet your timelines. As we even speak now, I see the election as if it's coming tomorrow.
Wow.
Because from what we started from after we did our tour, we did our conferences as if we were even in an election year. We've never done that before. We did our conferences throughout the country, 275 constituencies. We did our regional conference, and that resulted in the National Annual Delegates Conference that we did. You see, the moment you do constituency conferences in 275 constituencies, what it means is that you've met your local structures, your local grassroots people, close to 200,000 by that exercise alone. So it also afforded us the opportunity to review the elections with them, get them to also let us know what they think need to be done, why we lost certain constituencies, why we won certain constituencies, and what needs to be done. So
when they say political parties are not in touch with the base, how do you get in touch with the base? You work from asylum down. Someone is in Bunkpurugu, he's a party card bearer. How do you, as a general secretary or a chairman or a national organizer, meet these people? Do you have to rely always on your local executives? What if your local executives have become sold out? How do you manage these things?
It is in parts. You know, the party is structured from the grassroots polling station, electoral area, constituency, region, and national. And depending on what strategy you have, will depend on the kind of people you meet, either the regional people, constituency people, electoral area, polling station. Well, we go to the extent of even doing a tour in constituencies where it will afford us the opportunity to meet our local people. It's not even just our members. But if you are talking about our members in terms of our party structure, we are only looking at close to 220,000 people. But we have followers to the tune of 6 million plus.
So card-bearing NPP members are less than 1 million?
No, I mean officers.
Okay, officers, executives.
38,622 polling stations, and we have 5 each at all the polling stations. We have close to 6,500 electoral areas. Then you have the regional party and the national party.
Okay.
So if you are just looking at the officers of the party, then you are looking at close to 200,000. You cannot limit your activities and your program to these 200,000. So depending on what it is, depending on what program it is, depending on what strategy, you have to either meet the polling station, meet the electoral area, or the general masses. And now that you see social media is also available, we have a way of meeting these people through WhatsApp platforms, through the media interaction, like a program like
Did you go to school to study to be general secretary of a political party? Did you go to study to be a politician?
Unfortunately, I don't think we have any school in this country that takes people through. But I'm a pure business student. I did accounting, BSc administration.
You are a numbers person.
Obviously.
And you decided to go into politics, which
that
is
is exactly what is helping me in politics, because it allows me to conceptualize the entire country and break it down in a manner that makes it easy for everybody to work with. So for instance, before I became the national organizer, I told myself, it is not possible that I, as national organizer, will go for an election in just 40,000 polling stations and we will not be able to know our numbers. It's not possible.
You should.
No, it's not possible. All political parties that are incapable of doing that don't have people like me as their general secretaries, because we are talking about just 40,000. You can rely, and thankfully our polling station executives have done tremendously well, because I didn't rely on outside party people or even volunteers occasionally. But the bulk of the work was done by the polling station people, by electoral area coordinators, by IT coordinators. And these are local capacity building.
So that you could account for every person.
Every person.
I'll come and then we talk more about the things you put in place as a general secretary, structures I believe the party needed. But let's do a quick turn to 2016 when you were handed the job of being an acting general secretary. That was 2016 or 2015?
2015.
2015. So you had 12 months to go into an election. You were an organizer, you were given the job to be general secretary acting. You were going against an incumbent party. You were going against General Mosquito, who has so much. He has been a member of parliament twice. He's been an assembly member. He has won elections in power, in office and out of office. How difficult was it for you at the time, 2016?
It wasn't so difficult for me because I had also gone through the mill. I've been constituency secretary, regional research and information officer, been an accountant at the head office for close to 3 years, a national youth treasurer, national youth organizer, national organizer, deputy director of communication for the party. So I just went into with this vast experience. I've had the opportunity to be in IPAC with them. I've been on radio as deputy communication director, been on radio with all the people involved. So you understand, I wasn't just plucked from outside. Because I was national organizer, the only thing is an additional responsibility that was added to my portfolio. I had a basic concept, and if you look at my flyer for my election as national organizer, I said that when I'm voted for as national organizer, I will introduce something I call pink sheet tracking system. This is a system that tracks pink sheet from the point of production, the point of storage, the point of distribution, the point of redistribution at the polling station level, managing the polling station, before, during, and after polling station, what to do with the pink sheets.
And pink sheets are the declaration forms that are used on election days.
Yeah, are the declaration. So this comes with a lot of work. We were lucky to have started a pilot in 2012 of trying to use technology to also track our numbers. It didn't go very well. This time we had enough time. Joe Anoche was in this country for close to 1.5, 2 years. So we're working on it even before I became the General Secretary of the party. He also had time to also go down, because you must realize that it's not every place in our country that you have access to internet or internet penetration is available. So we have to also do a lot of things behind the scenes to make sure that we are not shortchanging that arena at all. We didn't only just increase the capacity of our people by taking them training and all that. We even did mock elections in selected constituencies to make sure that our plan is going to work.
As if it was a real election day.
So we have our polling agents at the polling station at 5:30. They must be there. They will go through till like 5 that the election will come to an end. And we provide the logistics in terms of, because it is not just about having pink sheets and that is all. The logistical requirements for them to know after the pink sheet, where do you take it to? After that, what do you do with it?
So you did this training in 2016. I'm still interested in 2016 because for you it was a big one, having won the election as an acting general secretary. And you also had behind you a general secretary and a chairman who had been removed. Was that not a problem for you? Initially
it was, but I came in as someone who is ready to mend fences. I came in as someone who have the party at heart. So everything I do was to ensure that we maintain peace. Before then, we were having lots of challenges, and some of you, the media people, were enjoying.
We said your party had cracked like an egg that had fallen.
Our opposition was using it against us and all that. But immediately after I took over, calm entered the party, but with the demeanor as well, because obviously there were people who were bruised, there were people who were not happy and all that. So we have to, behind the scenes, also get people to come on board and also get our core people to be energized in order to work more than before. We had then gone to UK and introduced what we call the V16 concept. So we have a lot of volunteers, professionals who want to spare 2 hours, 3 hours of their time to get involved. And that also brought a new kind of fresh air to the campaign. And we also adapted what we call retail campaign. So we're not relying solely on mass rallies and the noise and all that, you know. So we're doing on the ground retail campaign to make sure that we reach out to our people. We're also concerned about our message, because beyond everything, your message is important. And we have one of the most successful manifesto. We launched it properly, and the message was so on point. You understand? So it makes it very easier for people to understand what we stand for.
In the course of the program, I'll test the manifesto that you outdoored, for which reason you were voted in 2016. I ask you if you managed to do those things, because it was a very ambitious manifesto. In 2020, you even expanded it further. We'll talk about that. Now, let's go to the local party structures. You have been trying to work on that. You've done the polling station elections. A lot of them are still outstanding.
You can't say a lot of them. You're talking about 38,620 polling stations. For our own purposes, we held on to about 9 of them for reasons that I will not be able to explain to you. So we're looking at close to 364, 365.
Outstanding ones currently?
No, those that were ready for elections, okay. You understand? And you realize that because of the advent of social media, a little challenge at a polling station that gets coverage in the media, when the issue is resolved, it doesn't get the same coverage. So if you are sitting back and you don't know what really has happened, you may think that the party there's a problem here and there. We've almost solved all those issues. Some of them we even solved the problem days before. You must also recognize that there are constituencies that we have issues that are arising out of previous elections and all that. And what I also realized that there's some mistrust for the constituency officers, thinking that they are not going to allow some other people, depending on what they've done, to pick forms or contest or something. So that mistrust alone, alone resulted in some needless altercations that is not helpful to anybody.
So how many polling stations do you still have elections to conduct?
You can in terms of polling stations, we are left with less than, say, 800 or 1,000. You can reduce it to constituencies now.
So, if you reduce to constituencies, that will be how many constituencies?
So if you are
about 20?
So far, outstanding is around 22.
Which means you don't have officers for about 20 constituencies out of 275.
Yeah, 275.
Now, if you fix the polling station issue, then you can then fix the constituency election.
Obviously.
What is this thing you call album that is the cause of all the problem? Don't you have a national database that you can distribute to? Okay, for instance, don't you have in your office here in Accra a PDF file that has the list of all NPP executives at the polling station level in Zebila, for instance?
But you see, what you have that, but it was thrown out for elections. So not just polling station executives in Zebila, but all card-bearing members in Zebila.
You have that?
You have that.
And everybody is supposed to vote?
Everybody is supposed to vote.
So why is it a problem?
You see, it depends on... You remember just before we opened nominations, 6 months before, we sent out what we call polling station registers, of which all card-bearing members or active and known members of the party at the polling station were supposed to have their names in it. And you know that, for instance, people may be card-bearing members in Zebila, but they may be living in Accra. When it's not yet time for voting, they won't be there. So he may have, or he or she may have entered his or her name in a polling station that he doesn't vote there.
Okay.
You understand? So when it gets to vote, he may want to go back.
So you are doing what we do at the national election, where you exhibit the register.
Obviously.
So people go to confirm that they are indeed living here and they will vote on election day.
Obviously.
So anyone who didn't do that will not qualify to vote on the voting
But even
day.
because we know that there are exceptions, there are situations where, for reason of work and other things, people will not be available even at the exhibition period to check their names. We also made allowance for people who are known and active in the polling station to also be admitted.
Okay.
Other than that, we'll have left a lot of people out. So it is at that level that is a bit tumultuous, because you are talking about close to 1.5 million people at the polling station. And you are holding elections for 38,622 of them, 5 per polling station. So assuming you are having even 3 people contesting for each position, you are talking about close to 120-something thousand doing elections simultaneously. And this, we are using our own internal capacity. We are not employing the service of any election management authority. Okay. You understand? So that in itself is a reason for some of the noise. One thing you must also realize is that each and every constituency has its own dynamics. Over the years, they may have their own reason for some decisions. And so, democracy is not just about elections. There are instances in constituencies where they themselves decide that X, Y, Z have been polling station chairmen for years. Their houses are the houses that we use to do our meetings and all that. And they are the almost more or less opinion leaders there. How can you go there and say that you have to have elections to remove that person? So that kind of arrangement also featured strongly in it. And it is also very important that it's not just about throwing everything out for elections. It's also about consensus building. It's also about cooperation. And so that in itself. And you must also recognize that this polling station thing that is done have a lot of interests, multiple interests. electoral area coordinators who want to contest, constituency people want to contest, regional people want to contest.
And it all starts from the base.
National people, presidential candidate, parliamentary candidate. So the interests are such that if you are not very, very careful, you won't get it moving. You understand? So for us to have it within just 2 weeks and have the kind of success rate we had and the enthusiasm that we saw on the ground. And if there's a little challenge, what gratifies me is that, Charlie, we want to break the 8. Why are you misbehaving? You know, those kinds of arrangements. And I think that it is positive for our party. I saw the timetable of the NDC about their polling station elections. They took from January to June. 5 months. And rightly so, because they don't have that capacity that we have. They don't have that human resources that we have.
So how soon do you hope to deal with all these 300 plus polling stations?
We are about having a national council meeting on Thursday. We'll report to national council. The few that is left will be opening nomination for regional annual delegate conference by 15th to 16th. As we speak now, our alternative dispute resolution committee is working, and many of them, we are solving the problems. As at even last 3 days, I sat in a meeting, brought together a lot of the constituencies, Menchia North, Kumawu, Odan, Iowa West, Wogon, and all that. They've all had their elections. We've resolved the issues. They just have the election. You've
had elections in Yendi, but are you sure that the Yendi thing is not going to be a problem for you?
Yeah, initially it was going to be. What happened was that there was this complaint about existing polling station executives who have been taken off the register. We sat down, we discussed, we did a lot of work. We realized that about 123 of them paid the records. 17 of them had already died, so obviously we have to replace them. We also saw that about 12 of them have either gone to police, army, or even local government appointment. So we're left with 84. That was the bone of contention. We agreed that all the 84 must be restored back to the polling station album. So that was done before they did their election.
But there are people who withdrew. Is that not a portending problem for you?
No, because all the issues they raised were resolved.
But they still withdrew. It's critical.
Maybe they're considering...
it's not because you put up force from...
No.
You didn't force them from Accra.
No. They were all here with us.
You're not worried that it's excluding you?
I'm saying that I was part of the meeting. I was part of all the negotiations. I was part of the decision.
So Yendi is safe for you?
Sure there's nothing safe in an election if you have 2 years to go.
Okay, what I mean is that you don't fear an implosion.
I'm saying that even in Yendi, it's not something that we consider as safe.
Okay.
Just as all other constituencies, because every now and then you can have one thing or the other cropping and all that. And Yendi is a major seat that we don't joke with it. So if there are simmering problems, if there's even anything beyond what you've seen, we are ready to continue to work.
I'll come back. This is Face to Face on City TV. My name is Umaru Sanda Amadu. My guest is John Boadu. He's General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party. We're just talking about the structures of the party. We'll come back. We'll do a few more on the region, the plan, and the national executive, his own campaign, how that's come. And then we discuss the breaking the 8 and whether it's even possible. Please stay with us.
City TV is live. On DSTV, go to channel 363. On GoTV, access City TV on channel 182. On a digital TV, please press the menu button on the remote control and run a new search on your TV. Take note that without an antenna, you cannot access City TV on your television. City TV can be accessed on a free-to-air digital box like the GoTV and Star Times box. City TV. It's your world.
You're welcome back to Face on City TV. My name is Umaru Sanda Amadu, here with John Boadu, National General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party. You have...
General Secretary.
Oh, National General Secretary.
It's not national.
It's not national.
It includes international.
Oh,
so if you say national,
International General Secretary.
No, it's General Secretary.
Okay, General Secretary with additional responsibilities internationally.
It's part of it.
Oh, Okay.
General Secretary.
Okay. So not National Secretary?
No.
Not National General Secretary?
No, not International General, no.
But I can say scribe, party scribe?
Maybe.
Okay, that's fine. In fact, I can say Chief Executive.
Sometimes Chief Executive connotes some grandeur thing and create
Office
all
Kokoti,
kinds
wearing coats.
Wearing coats.
You're an operation guy.
Behaving as if the party is yours and
holding pen and writing checks.
People must obey you and all that. No.
You don't do it like that.
I don't do
you want
that.
to be
General Secretary.
Organizer 10 General Secretary. That makes it more. Okay, that's fine. You've done your polling station, a few issues. You've done constituency, very few issues. You're going for the regional elections next. When is that? What's happening?
We've done the polling station. We also did the electoral area coordinators. You didn't hear about anything.
In the middle before...
You didn't hear about anything.
I did. I know that you have 5 polling station people who vote for
electoral area coordinator.
Yes.
In addition to having the physical hard copy of the nomination form that generated a bit of heat, our IT team uploaded the nomination form for the electoral area coordinators election. So you didn't hear anything. The election went on.
Yeah, that one it was small because your electoral area
6,500.
Yeah, that was very small.
It's not very small. If we had not managed it well, you wouldn't have seen the kind of
but
success.
if you did 38,000 successfully failed,
that would have been difficult for us because we're not sure of internet penetration in all the polling stations. That's the reason why we didn't do that. We are hoping that by the next 4 years we'll be able to capture all and
so none of that was outstanding. All the 6,000 you went through.
We've been able to do all, apart from few places that there are challenges. You understand? So we've done that. We've done the constituency elections. We have close to 250 plus that has been done. By Thursday we'll have a national council as part of our preparation towards the regional elections. We recognize that there's an omission in our constitution that added assistant regional secretaries to those to be appointed. At
the constituency level?
At the regional level.
Oh, regional level, rather.
It's always been an elective position. And conference is the highest decision-making body. Apart from conference, we have National Council. So National Executive recommended for National Council to ratify that recommendation of bringing it to the status quo where assistant regional secretaries are elected. So we'll have a National Council on Thursday, all things being equal, to ratify that, to enable us open nomination by 15th, 16th for prospective aspirants who want to contest as regional officers of the
So
party.
the new thing would be that henceforth, or from this election, your assistant regional secretaries would be elected.
Will be elected.
Not appointed.
Not appointed. But they've always been elected.
Okay.
But in drafting the constitution, when we're putting together all the appointing position, the assistant secretaries were added. You understand? We ought not to have been.
So you are just trying to formalize your constitution.
Formalize it, yeah.
So henceforth, who would be appointed at the regional level?
Deputy organizer, deputy youth organizer, deputy women organizer, deputy NASA coordinator, research and elections officer, communication.
So those who will be appointed,
financial secretaries.
They will be appointed. Everybody else will be elected.
Yeah.
At the national level, what do you do? Do you elect your deputy secretaries?
No, at the national level, the deputies are appointing positions.
Okay.
Yeah. So the two deputies for organizer, youth, women, Nasara.
Would you push that now at the national level too?
Oh, so there's no point. You see, the reason for that appointment at the national level was to, we have 16 regions. Mm-hmm. We only have 10 elective positions. If you are not lucky, you have one region get about 2-3 people, meaning that all other regions will not have. So the intention is to use it to balance the regional arrangement in order to get almost everything.
But at the region too, you may have that because...
That's why we have other appointing positions.
Okay,
you have the deputy organizer, deputy youth, women and all that. And there are some of the positions that are more of professional.
So
you need the set skills like communication, research and all that. So it gives us, if you throw it out for elections, you may not end up getting what you want.
When would the elections be for the regional level?
For the 27th, 8th, and 9th. That is of May.
Of May.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
And it's going to happen across all the
simultaneously, depending on, they have the right to choose any of the 3 days to have the elections.
And since you have a few outstanding issues in some of the constituencies, would it not affect the...
We are working towards ensuring that we resolve almost all the issues.
Before.
For instance, 3 of the constituencies, Savlugu, Jomoro, and Asen North, for instance, I'll just seek the support of National Council to get their existing polling constituency executive to vote in the regional and the national election, depending on
expired executives.
That's why National Council can extend their mandate as we wait for them to have their elections. You understand? So that will be sorted out, and we are hoping that as we speak, the ADR is meeting. Ayawaso Central, for instance, they went to court. The court says that we should use our internal mechanism to resolve it. We should come back by Friday with our decision at the ADR. What it means that we can even have elections on Saturday. So we are hoping that the few left, by the time we get to the regional elections, we will have cleared, even if we are unable to do so. Our constitution gives us the right to hold conferences if we have a minimum of 1/3, which is the quorum
of the delegates.
Yeah, and so in all the regions we have more than 2/3.
So even if we don't let existing executives continue, you can still have elections.
We will have ways to have all of them.
And then the big one, the national elections. When would that be?
The national elections will be held between 15th, 16th, and 17th of July. In Greater Accra. That's what we've planned.
Also, all will converge on Accra.
Converge in Accra.
The last time was in Koforidua.
It was in Kumasi. The last national elections was in Koforidua.
Yes, 2018.
But the last national annual delegates conference was in Kumasi. Yeah.
That's when you are going to face the people and tell them to give you 4 more.
I'll face them before they come. So,
but on that day, when you are giving your general secretary's address, you pass inside and give them small.
Oh, they are already aware. So I won't
Why should they give you 4 more?
I think that in the first place, we are at a critical moment of our history where every 8 years of parties in government are changed, and that cycle is an unhealthy cycle. Unhealthy cycle because if you check the records of NPP and DC over the years, we took over from them in 2000, having run the country for close to 19 years. Even GDP at 1981 was the same as GDP in the year 2000, $4 billion, $4 billion. So we didn't come. Debt to GDP had risen 254%. Inflation was around 45%. Interest rate was around 50% at that time. Cocoa production was low, 400,000 tons and all that. We took over, and by dint of hard work from His Excellency J. Kufuor, we managed to improve largely and introduce a lot of social intervention programs within the 8 years. Discovered oil in commercial quantities.
Which was left for you by GMPC, which was powered by
which they managed for all this while they couldn't find oil in commercial quantities. We did. So it's important we take note of that. Then 2009 to 16, our brothers came back again as usual, eating the meat to the bone. Almost everything is down. Inflation was also rocketing high. Debt to GDP had increased from 26% to 76% in the year 2017, January. They didn't have any COVID or Ukraine-Russia war, but GDP in the year 2016 was 3.7%, just as what they did in 2000, So this unhealthy...
And then you came back.
And then we came back.
And then you took a liter of fuel for 10 cedis for the first time in our life.
Wait.
And the CD is running away from the dollar for the first time in a long time.
Are you done with
that? No, I was just helping you with the
No,
you started from rolling.
I
knew you wouldn't say this one, so I was helping you.
Are you done with
Youth
that?
employment has gone so
we
high.
are doing analysis.
Yes, I was helping you. I was helping you. You did the 2000 year.
We took
the
over.
2009.
We took over
yes.
when GDP was 3.7%. For 3 years running, GDP average 5.8%. Average. 2017, 2018, 2019. We reduced debt to GDP from the 76% to 68%. Inflation single-digit all-time record for the 3 years we took over. Interest rate was coming down. Our ratings had gone up. We, in addition to doing all these things, we've introduced a lot of social intervention programs. Higher on the agenda is the free SHS. This is the first 3 years.
So you are the numbers person.
No,
when you
it's not a question of numbers.
No, I'm saying so this is you know. I say you are a numbers person.
So that's why I'm doing the analysis.
But you are also a grassroots person. When you translate all these numbers you've just thrown around.
What it translates into is
that
1 million people.
1 ball of king
1 million
is for 3
people.
cedis.
No, wait.
A fish.
1 million.
I mean, no,
I agree.
You buy tomatoes. One bucket of tomatoes is for 800
cedis. I'll come
so
there.
that's the practical thing on the ground. Forget the GTB, all those things you mentioned.
You see, some of these dangerous statements.
I want you to talk to the man on the ground and explain these numbers to him.
You're assuming the man on the ground doesn't even understand this.
He doesn't care about the numbers.
Who says so?
He cares about the reality in his pocket.
Who says so? Because it is
when
the numbers.
When you were coming in 2000, you through Kufuor told us look inside our pockets and vote.
It's the numbers that will translate into a reduction in increases in prices.
But it's not resulting there.
Wait. The moment you have inflation, even if it is 1%, do you know what it means? It doesn't mean prices of goods and services are coming down. What it means is that price of goods and services are going up, but they are going up in a reduction rate. So these are things that you must appreciate. So if you say, inflation is 5%, it has reduced from 11%. It doesn't mean prices have reduced. Okay. What it means is that the rate at which prices were increasing is in a reduction basis. So let me take you through.
John, wait. When you took over from your namesake in 2016, how much was a litre of petrol?
No, but what is the point about?
The point is that when you took over from your namesake in 2016, the litre of fuel that he left for you under his incompetence,
you should just
6 years on.
But you know,
when you are filling your tank,
you must not be deceived by this sport argument.
Those are the physical ones that bother everybody.
You know why?
No.
For instance, if you take the NDC, they took over in 2008 when the CD is
2009.
2009 when the CD is equivalent to the dollar.
No, the CD.
More or less.
When you did the denomination, it was 2007.
What denomination?
When you did the redenomination, it was $1 to 1 CD.
And when they were taking,
but it soon started skyrocketing.
When they were taking over in 2009, it was almost the same. By the time they were
$1 1 CD.
Well, almost the same. It's $1.12 CDs to $1. When they were leaving by 8 years, it has quadrupled from 1.112 to close to 4.2. You understand? So it is the rate of change that determines whether you are doing well or not.
And in 6 years, you have done the same thing.
So wait. So if petrol was selling in January at say 4 cedis per litre, the mere fact that the cedi had depreciated by 4 folds, what it means is that you cannot get prices, particularly fuel prices, at the same price. Forget about even the real price of crude. You understand? So it is that analysis that fits into whether you've done well or not. Because whether you like it or not, in 2000, if the NDC comes to power, and the cedi to the dollar is around 50 Ghana, there's no way, even if they are magicians, be able to sell petrol price at this price. Okay. So it is those determinants that you take into consideration in looking at this. But if you make this argument, when you took over, it is this, it will come back to the same.
No, but you were doing the comparison. You started from 81, and you talked about GDP in 81, and when Rawlings was leaving, he said nothing had changed.
No, I was using comparative figures. Yes. I was not just picking and choosing.
Yes, but you see, you've just explained to me that in 8 years, you said in 8 years, the NDC, what did they do with the cedi against the dollar? Yeah. You said they quadrupled it to 4. Yeah. So when they were leaving in 2017, it was $4, 4 cedis to $1.
Yeah, 4.2.
Yes.
When I said 1, you strictly wanted me to add the 0.2.
Today, the dollar, you have doubled it in 6 years what they did in 8 years. And I'm saying that comparatively,
we've not
it means you've done badly.
We've not doubled it.
Okay.
A double when we had that challenge.
Which challenge?
Of increasing prices in crude oil. Right from that, at the beginning of every company, and even Ghana, go and check our budget. We pegged petroleum products prices in 2022 around $60.
Yes.
Now it's $103. Obviously, 2 times the cost of your budget for that product.
Don't forget, we're also exporting crude, by the way, so we should also be benefiting from that.
That's a mistake you do. Do you know the ratio of our export and import in terms of crude demand in this country?
But we still have...
You don't. If you don't, then let me tell you.
What is it?
It is 5:1.
5:1.
5:1. So, for instance, if there are prices increases in the oil market, we'll gain 1 and lose 5.
4. We'll gain 1 and lose 4.
And lose 4. You understand? And lose 4. If you do so, you are not benefiting. It is an additional cost to you.
So our export is waste.
It is not waste. Okay. We are not yet net exporters of crude. We are net importers of crude. So those who will be benefiting in this arrangement are those countries that are net exporters.
You can explain the thing, you can explain everything.
Unless you don't want to listen.
No.
But if you had allowed, you know what I was going to do?
No.
I was going to take you to 2019.
All right.
Then come to 2020.
Please go ahead.
When
when COVID came.
We are going to add more time to...
we'll bring you an invoice for campaign if you want to bring...
Because you distracted me. You've distracted me.
So you're going to tell me what the figures were in 2019 before COVID.
In 2019, we had virtually had the longest period of inflation, single-digit inflation. Our interest rate was moving in the right direction. Our ratings was better. Our GDP averaged 5.8%. We've reduced the debt to GDP ratio to a level that is appreciable till COVID set in. When COVID set in, we had twin problem. Expenditures that otherwise you wouldn't have spent if not because of COVID. That alone was around 15 billion Ghana cedis. Then loss of revenue as a result of COVID because there were lockdowns all over the place, your imports were not going through and all that. That also cost us close to 14 billion Ghana cedis. So that alone, without taking into consideration the informal sector and the losses to them, the tourism industry and all that. So throughout the world, in the year 2020, just about 28 countries posted a positive growth. And Ghana is one of them. Although the growth was minimal, it was 0.4%. It has never happened in this country before where we've had a GDP growth of 4%. Countries shut down. A lot of the countries had negative growth. The effect of it is increasing in prices. Even freight charges moved from $2,500 to close. Even at some point, $15,000. At some point, all the cargo locked up in Australia were finding it even difficult to get
which resulted in iron rods going high, building materials.
Almost 50% increase and all
But you're recovering
But
now.
this, fantastic. That's why you must know that our government, we are not recovering.
I thought you wanted to say that's why you like me.
I'm saying that, no, I don't like it. That's why you must recognize.
Information
I'm saying that. Well,
so my point is that now that you are recovering, because countries are recovering, your recovery is too slow.
It is not too slow. You see, I normally say...
You see, there are people
Do you
on
know
the
the
street...
current figures?
There are people on the street, John, who are not happy with the fact that you blame everything on COVID and Ukraine.
So what else?
Blame it on your incompetence. Like the way you blamed it on John Mahama's incompetence.
What do you expect us to do that we didn't do? Just giving one example.
We expect you, as a party that promised us that you're going to be busy with production, to continue with that and not be engaged in importing, for which reason we are losing the money we are losing. So that in 6 years, if you had fixed your production problems, we wouldn't be having these import problems.
We've
that
built
are resulting
for the first time in the history within 6 years 110 1D1F.
You refurbished existing ones. There's one in my village. It was there already. You came to just help them. You give them small money, they do small polishing, and you say you built a factory.
Wait. You see, this is the problem. This is why almost about 100 plus of our state-owned industries were sold out. Because you don't refurbish. You don't re-engineer.
Yeah, but this is not for you. This is for private person.
Because we are not a center-left political party. When we're saying that we introduce 1D1F, we didn't say that it's the state that was going to do that. We said that we are going to support the private sector to
So my point is, I don't say you've built 100 plus. Say you have supported in some part, you built...
So I should do, we supported in one part, we built...
Yeah, you supported 7.
So that you come and ask me what percentage of support...
Yeah, that's necessary.
But the fact of the matter is that 110 of factories that were not functioning, some of them have been resuscitated.
Yes.
Some of them has been built right from scratch. And you see, building factories is not as easy as planting maize, which takes about just 3, 4, 6 months. In some cases, 3 months. Feasibility studies to make sure that you can even get the raw materials, the kind of technology that you need. And even sometimes, the technology itself. That's why we find it difficult completing the sugar factory in the central region. Because the kind of species that we have for the sugar cane, it said that we will use almost about half of the entire land space of Ghana, unless we are able to get that species that will be high yield and all that. So, but these are things that takes time. It's like the polyglutin, you understand? So it's not as if we promised production, we've not been doing it. We promised production, and we are on small. 8. Yes, because we are doing it based on our capacity. Within this period, if it was easy, the other parties that had run this country, they will have...
No, the other parties did not tell us that.
For them, they don't care.
They didn't tell us.
For them, they want to do...
Right now, you're the one in charge, so...
Fantastic.
So we hold you responsible.
That's why I'm telling you that we've been able to do that. Okay. It is that with other interventions, like the planting for food and jobs, that has not gotten us to be importing more than necessary. You understand?
So because we should be grateful for the current situation.
We should be happy, not happy to the level that all of us will have wasted. But in the midst of our environment, in the midst of our sub-region,
this is better
compared to other countries. To the extent that there are countries that cannot even get vegetable oils to cook.
Your country cannot get tomatoes. Your country, if Burkina close their border today, you can get tomatoes. You know that.
But that's why we also export there. So this is an inter-trade business.
I wanted to talk about your track record as General Secretary. We ended up talking about Akufo-Addo's track record.
No, it's important.
When we come back, I'll come back, then I'll try and let you tie that bow together. This is Face-to-Face on City TV. My guest is John Boadu. I'm not going to mention his title because the last time I did, it was going to be problematic.
You should mention for me to
John Boadu, General Secretary, New Patriotic Party, the governing party. When we come back, I'll ask him about his own campaign again. We're trying to work on that. And then the breaking the 8, whether it's Alan who break the 8 or Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
Or
Please
John
stay.
Boadu.
John Boadu is not running.
City TV is live on DSTV. Go to channel 363. On GoTV, access City TV on channel 182. On a digital TV, please press the menu button on the remote control and run a new search on your TV. Take note that without an antenna, you cannot access City TV on your television. City TV can be accessed on a free-to-air digital box like the GoTV and Star Times box. City TV, it's your world.
You're welcome back to Face on City TV. John Boadu is still in studio with me. John, so 2 things. Why should NPP people re-elect you, and why should Ghanaians re-elect NPP?
First of all, I am a person who delivers. I was given the opportunity twice to have the party in power. I've done so. I've done so in an excellent manner by restructuring and strengthening the party.
And losing elections in parliament.
Oh, yes.
Horribly.
But you see, we won the elections in 2016 in a manner that we moved from around 103, 54 additional ones. And out of the 54, 23 of them we lost presidential. What it means is that we benefited from skirt and blouse. There are constituencies that you obviously lose if the NDC put their act together. Just as we speak now, there are constituencies that the NDC, whatever they do, they will lose. They will lose Famina, they will lose Ayensuano, they will lose Upper Denchira West, they will lose Akwetia.
No, we know the
no, I'm telling you. Yeah.
Akwetia,
so
right
these are
things. You are not sure about Akwetia.
No, but we will work at it.
Okay.
These are things that, unless you are untrained, you won't understand why certain things happen. You understand? So for me, I think that we are at a point that is good for the party. Because if you look at how the NDC benefited from Sketem, they benefited more than we did. We won 17, snatched 17 from them. Out of the 70, about 60% of them we benefited from Sketem. They benefited about 80% of the 49. You understand? So sitting where I sit, knowing what I've done, working in this party.
So you're the best guy to fix that?
Over the years. I go into 2024, particularly when our national chairman will not contest again, to give us that guidance. Our national organizer wants to be in government. He's now chief executive officer for NLA. Our youth organizer will not go for youth again. He wants to move to national organizer. Our treasurer don't want to go again. He wants to go for
chairman. So you need an experienced hand around.
We have a flag bearer that is new. We have a running mate that is new. Then the fulcrum, the center of which everything revolves as general secretary. If I also decide not to contest again, the investment that has been done in me over years, going to an election with a formidable, they've been in opposition more than everybody. You see, they've been running as opposition party, but they have experienced people. You still have the Hudu Yayes there, first general secretary of the NDC.
The John Mohammed.
The John Mohammed, Syria, loser. You have the.
Oh, he learned it from somebody.
Yeah, don't worry. You have Aseidun Ketia, who have been general secretary from 2006 to date.
Does he give you sleepless night, General Mosquito?
Oh, not really. I've neutralized his kind of movement. Okay. You realize that there's sanity, particularly amongst political debaters now. Hitherto, it was like jokes most often. Serious issues is reduced to and all that. Now he doesn't even have the appetite to do so because I will not even get myself.
You are going against three
involved.
people who want to take your job. If you are really doing that well, why do they want to take your job?
It's because it's like a vacancy for Asante. You have more people because of how the seat is very important. I've reduced the general secretaryship to an easygoing thing, getting things done without struggling, because I understand the processes. You know? So people who don't understand the process think that it is a simple job to do.
But you came and learned. They should also be allowed to come and learn.
No, I didn't learn. I learned on the job. I learned for years, close to 16 years.
You learned from within?
Years, yeah, close to 16 years of working under people who have also excelled. You understand? I work under Damboche, I work under Darocha, I work under Jake, I work under Kwashigan, Lord Kome.
Do you think your delegates know this story and they would vote for you?
They really know. Then they are yearning. Most of them are calling, when are you coming, when are you coming, when are you coming? And they've done so for a very long time. What people don't understand is that General Secretary is not just an administrator of the party. He's in charge of operations. As a result, there's no point in General Secretary being flamboyant, always on Facebook. The listing, earlier in the day, I went to a funeral here, then pictures.
You won't do that?
Nah.
Whose shade is that?
Nah.
Whose shade is that?
Oh, no, I'm only saying that as General Secretary, you don't do that. So,
but as an aspiring General Secretary, you can.
A lot of people who are not in the party don't know what the General Secretary does. Rightly so, and that is what General Secretaries must do. People must not know your movements. But the real people who are the people that needs your movement in order for you to achieve the kind of victory you are achieving knows it. So if you go on the ground, all that they know is General Secretary have been working with them for the first time in our history for about 3 years now. We are supporting them on a monthly basis to make sure that it lessens their burden at the constituencies level. We provided them logistics. I was telling you, every constituency in our party have not less than 4 computers at their disposal for their work.
And this is credit to you?
Yeah, this is credit to me. We've been able to have a strong IT base as a party. That's almost everything that needs to be automated has been done. And we are still working. It's an ongoing process. We are still working on it. And they know that with me, the work will be done.
In 30 seconds, if you are able to win or not, your party still has a huge dilemma getting a new candidate to replace Akufo-Addo. Are you sure you can come out unscathed between Dr. Mamuya and
It is something that we need to work on. You see, and thankfully with what we've done, where we've automated or have all our polling station executive, electoral area coordinates, concerns, all on softs, there wouldn't be the problem of changing of our bomb here and there. You understand? So what we need to do
I'm interested in if one wins, are you sure you'll be fine? You guys will survive?
It depends. That's the process. It's not just the win.
Okay, so people should know that they genuinely lost.
Yeah, if the process is fair, if the platform is even and all that, whoever loses will know that no manipulation.
Do you have a favorite?
Oh, I obviously have a favorite.
Which one is that?
Myself. But why are you doubting that I want to contest these elections? Apart from being the engine in ensuring that they win, it is possible I may want to
because
contest.
Mosquito wanted to be running mate, you want to be president.
Well, I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
John,
what I know is that he wants to be chairman also. Yeah.
No, I'm talking about in 20 when they were MP.
Wasn't it a joke?
I don't know. Is yours not a joke?
No, I'm very serious about it.
You will be quoted though that you want to run for president.
Yes.
Are you sure?
Why not?
John Adrian Kessie. Is it Adrian Kessie or Adrian Kessie?
Kessie.
Okay, so John Adrian Kessie Boadu.
Yes.
Thank you for speaking to us on Face to Face.
Thank you very much.
That was the General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party. My name is Umaru Sandamando. Please stay with City TV. It's your world.